Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first reviewer webinar. Thank you for joining us. I'm Anita, and I'm part of the Learning and Content Management team. Joining me from the Learning and Content Management team are my colleagues Carol, Ulin, and Chandani. And we also have a few of our researcher support team joining us, Sandhya and Tracy. So thank you, everyone, for joining us in this session today to support. And before we begin, a few housekeeping items. Firstly, please take a few moments to complete the short poll you will see on your screen now. And if you have any question at any time during the content of the session, please use the Q&A option to send your questions directly to us. And we'll try to answer as many questions as possible today during the session in the Q&A channel. And if we cannot answer all the questions, we'll reply to you directly after the session, unless you post the question anonymously. And we'll also cover some of the questions, the most frequently raised questions at the end of the session today. And for the best view, you may wish to drag the central bar on your screen to the right to enlarge the screen that we are sharing. And you may also wish to enable the live transcripts via the bar on the bottom of the screen. Finally, our session is being recorded today, and you will be sent a link when the recording is ready. So now let's quickly take a look at our agenda for today, and this session will last for 30 to 45 minutes. So our agenda will briefly cover how to write a high-quality peer review report and submit your review in Editorial Manager, how do editors choose reviewers for a manuscript, how to claim your Scopus profile, how to add your peer review activities to your ORCID profile, how to set your reviewer preferences, what are the options for reviewers who are willing to review, and finally, we'll see how do you download reviewer recognition certificate. So this is completely our agenda for today. So let's get into the next slide. So now let's start and explore how to write a high quality peer review report. Some of the journals employ structured peer review, whereby you will receive a series of questions to make it easier for you to convey recommendations for improvement in a structured manner. So here follows a list of standard question banks for different article types. So some of the core questions for research articles are listed here. So just have a walkthrough of it. And some of the core questions for review articles are also listed here. So even if your journal does not make use of the structured peer review, we strongly recommend considering these questions before starting to review a manuscript. So we've also published an exclusive video on completing a structured review video, and the link of which will now be posted in the chat section for you all. So please bookmark the link for your easy reference in future. Yeah. Thank you. And the next thing you're going to see is how do you respond to a reviewer invitation? So before you accept or decline an invitation to review, always consider the following questions. So does the article match your area of expertise? Only accept if you feel you can provide a high quality review. Do you have a potential conflict of interest? Disclose this to the editor when you respond. And do you have time? Reviewing can be a lot of work, we all know. So before you commit, make sure you can meet the deadline. And do you need to find out more about reviewing and the peer review process? If so, please check out the few free tutorials that are available on the Elsevier research platform, especially the certified peer review course. And the last thing, respond to the invitation as soon as you can. Even if it is to decline, a delay in your decision definitely slows down the review process and means more waiting for the author. So if you do decline the invitation, it would be helpful if you could actually suggest or provide suggestions for alternate reviewers. So when journals solicit reviews, reviewers like you receive an email invitation, as you could see in this example. So in this example invitation email, you will see the email has a manuscript title, as you could see from here, abstract, response, due date, and deep links to accept or decline the invitation. If the journal requests your response within a specific time and they do not receive your response by then, the invitation will expire and the links will no longer work. So you can either accept or decline the invitation by clicking on the deep link from the email, as you could see here from the example, or you can log in into Editorial Manager and do it. So now what we're going to is, let's get into the Editorial Manager test site and explore the review submission process together. Please note that I'm going to be using our training site for the demonstration purpose with dummy users and dummy submissions. So please do not worry if you don't see things that you see now on your screen. That might be purely because of the access privileges that has been provided to you for your journal. So now let's get into the Editorial Manager screen. Just give me a moment. I hope the screen is all clear, Julian.
Yes, Anita, we can see the training site.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's start with the exploring the review process now. So if you are a new user, click on the Register Now button to register yourself with the journal. If you're already a registered user and if you like to retrieve your username, you can click on the Send Login Details button, as you could see here. And if the system finds a matching email address, you will receive an email containing your username and a link to reset your password. So let's log in into the reviewer login details. So this is just the test user details, which I informed you before. So let's log in. Okay, now we are here in the reviewer main menu. As you could see, there are some important options here. So you can just go to the main menu. You can submit a manuscript as an author. And when you click on the About button, you will be able to see the journal overview page and the guide for authors page also, in case if you'd like to refer the journal overview page and the instruction for author link. And there is also a help button here. You can click here. You can ask for system help or use the video tutorials. And on the right side, you will see a reviewer resource box that's switched on. So here you can find some important information like reviewer guide to Editorial Manager, which I will actually take you through towards the end of the session. And the link of the review guide will also be now posted to the chat section. So please bookmark it for your reference. It will be really helpful. And you can also find what are all the recent webinars that's going to happen and also details about the Reviewer Hub and how do you download recognized reviewer certificates. So this resource box will be definitely helpful. And on the right side, if you see, when you click on your name, you will find the Update My Information tab. So please use the Update My Information tab to update your profile details. If there is change in institution, it is really not required for you to create a new Editorial Manager account. Rather, just click on Update My Information tab and update your affiliation details, email ID, etc. This will really help us, help you to avoid having duplicate accounts for a single journal. Yeah. So now let's begin the review process. So under the review assignments folder, you will see the new invitations. Whatever new invitations you have received from the new invitations, new reviewer invitations folder. So click on this link. So under this folder now, you will see all the new invitations. So I've already just had a test manuscript prepared for this purpose of the webinar. And from the action link, you can view the PDF of the submission. So you can just click on this view submission and view the PDF. You can also go ahead and review the abstract of the manuscript. And once you're ready, accept the invitation. You can click on Agree to Review or click on Decline to Review to decline the invitation. So once you click on Agree, now let's see what's going to happen. So I'm just going to click on Agree to Review. So now if you could see, we clicked on the agree button and the manuscript has now moved to your pending assignments folder. So I'm just going to click on the pending assignments folder. And now, when you're ready to submit the review, click on submit recommendation. And the system will now display journal configured reviewer form. So please read any instructions provided by the journal by clicking on this reviewer instructions button, which will give you all insights about what is required of you to submit this review. So choose the appropriate recommendation term from the drop-down list, and you may also provide a manuscript rating, but this is definitely not a mandatory field. So you can just give that here. And you can just come down and you will see there are few review questions provided, and that might be mandatory. So just start answering all the questions which are given here. Just going to choose all these review questions. So this question, if you could see, it says, are you willing to review the revision of this manuscript? So you can provide your consent by choosing the appropriate option and then provide your overall rating for the manuscript. I'm just going to choose the next one. So for this expedited paper, please confirm if this paper should be accepted or rejected. So I just give my consent. So these questions might vary from journal to journal, depending on the journal configuration. And you might also see manuscript rating questions that are available. As you could see, these instructions are customizable by the journal. So please continue to provide your response for all these questions. So now the next step is to provide your detailed comments to the author in the review comments to author field. So I'm just going to give my comments. Okay, and this will be shared with the author with the editor approval, and any confidential comments you would like to provide to the handling editor could be given here in the reviewer confidential comments to the editor. So you can provide all your details here. And then many of the journals will ask you, just a second, there is some disturbance in my screen. Second. Okay. So many of your journals allow to upload attachments, reviewer attachments. So you can use this upload reviewer attachments button and upload your attachments file. So I'm just going to upload a reviewer attachment file. Okay. The system is a little slow today. Just bear with me for a second. And I'm going to choose the reviewer file. And click on attach this file. Okay, give me a second. There is some issue. Okay, so now if you could see here, I have uploaded my reviewer attachments and click on proceed with the recommendation. So this attachment will be really useful to the editor in understanding why you made your recommendation. And some journals, let me just go down, will also ask you whether you give permission to transfer your review comments and identify if the manuscript is transferred to another journal. So response to these questions may be required depending on your journal policy. So please use the radio button to indicate your preferences. Okay, So now we are done with filling this page completely. So once all the required fields and mandatory fields are filled in, you can just come down and click on Proceed button. And now you will be asked to confirm your decision before it is sent to the journal office. So at this point, many journals respond by emailing you thank you messages to acknowledge your review. So I'm just going to click on Submit Review and click OK. So as I mentioned, yes, you may receive an email thanking you to acknowledge your review. And most journals will also send you a copy of the final decision letter. And you may be asked to re-review the manuscript in case of a revised decision. So let's get back to the reviewer main menu because you've successfully completed the review submission process. So through your Editorial Manager account, you will retain access to your prior reviews. They are accessible from the main menu, as you could see here, within your completed assignments folder. So when you click on your completed assignments folder, you can go and view all the papers for which you've provided your review. You could also click on View Reviewer Comments to just see other reviewer feedback from your dashboard. So this is how review process can be performed and submitted in a very straightforward way using Editorial Manager. So now we are done with the review process. Submitting a review process. I'm just going to go back to the presentation to continue with the rest of our agenda. Julian, I hope the screen is all clear, Julian.
Yes, we can see your presentation. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you very much. So now, next thing we're going to see is how do editors choose reviewers for a manuscript? Ask any editor about their main struggle, and chances are that they'll mention finding reviewers. Editors have a variety of options that Editorial Manager offers to support editors to identify and evaluate, invite, retain, and reward peer reviewers. And they're now listed here. The first one, as you could see, is find reviewers using Scopus tool, which is incorporated into Editorial Manager. This feature provides recommendations based on AI technology and allows editors to easily identify and evaluate reviewer candidates who have the right expertise and are available for review. Researchers with potential conflict of interest and opposed reviewers are completely filtered out, and the remaining candidates are then ranked using specific criteria, for example, publication history and reviews in progress. And the next one is the journal's reviewer database. This feature provides the ability to search within the journal's database. And the last one is setting reviewer preferences. So each editor can configure personal preferences for how search results are displayed in the reviewer candidates grid. So using these options, editor can filter reviewers based on classification, board membership, and pending reviews, etc. So the next thing we are going to see is about how to claim your Scopus profile. Scopus is the premier source of author profiles. It is the only database that implements algorithmic and systematic author disambiguation. Some of the search options editors use are powered by Scopus, and so if the reviewer does not have the profile linked and updated in Scopus, they may not appear in the editor's search. And the free author lookup is available to anyone, and no subscription is required for this tool. So the author lookup link will now be posted to the chat section. So you can just go through that link and tag the link for your reference. So now you can claim your Scopus profile in 5 simple steps. And that is listed here. Locate your author details page. Go to the free author lookup link. Yeah, the same link which I just mentioned before. And search for your name or your ORCID ID. Scopus will automatically create a profile when you have 2 or more publications indexed. verify your author details are correct, as you could see on the right side, create a Scopus account so you can request corrections if needed. Request corrections to your Scopus profile, the author profile if needed, and keep your profile always up to date. So this is how you can go and claim your Scopus profile. And the next thing we're going to see is how to add your peer review activities to your ORCID profile. So for those readers not familiar with ORCID, it is Open Researcher and Contributor ID, and it's a not-for-profit cross-publisher organization that strives to enable transparent and trustworthy connections between researchers and the contributions and also their affiliations. And it provides a persistent digital identifier, which is the ORCID ID, which is owned and controlled by authors and which distinguishes authors from every other researcher. So, ORCID deposit question will be part of the review form in this section, ORCID reviewer credit, and will be shown when you are submitting the review comments, as you could see here in the screenshot. So you can just click on the button to actually add your peer review activities to your ORCID profile. And the next thing we actually wanted to show you here is how to set your reviewer preferences. So you can do so via the Reviewer Hub, and the link of the Reviewer Hub will now be posted to the chat section. This allows you to proactively share when you're not available to conduct a review from 1 week up to 6 months in advance, as you could see from the screenshot. So here are the steps listed. So you can use the calendar icon in the starting and ending fields to select your unavailable dates. So sorry. Yeah, thank you. Use the plus button here, the add another option to add multiple dates, and the trash icon will help you to remove a previously set unavailable date. There is a provision to set up to 5 date ranges. If the date is already passed, then it will automatically expire and be removed from the reviewer preferences page. Please note, while we indicate your preferences to the editors have a final decision to send a review invitation. The next thing we're going to see here is how do I set my review limits? Again, we're going to do so via the Reviewer Hub. So this enables you to set a limit of how many reviews you would be able to manage at any one time. So you can select from a minimum of 1 to 5, a maximum of 5 from the drop-down available. And the review limit considers only the open review assignments and will not factor in any open review invitations. And what are all the options for reviewers who are willing to review? What does Elsevier offer for them? So given the positive results of our journey so far, we recently took the next step in peer review volunteering and launched the volunteer to review feature on Reviewer Hub. So this feature, as you could see here, allows researchers to volunteer to review for any Elsevier journal on Editorial Manager. And referees will also be able to add additional information such as link to their professional web page or their motivation to review for a journal, so that editors receive a bit more context and the match between volunteer and the journal is optimized. So just go into the Reviewer Hub. Sorry, there is some issue with my keypad. I'm so sorry, the confusion. So, okay, so just go into the Reviewer Volunteer Hub page, and the link of which will be now posted in the chat section. Find the journal for which you are interested to review and complete your reviewer profile. So this is how you can actually go and provide your willingness through the Reviewer Hub platform. And the next thing we're going to see here is downloading reviewer recognition certificate. So how to download your certificate? It is very easy. You have to just log in into the review platform again. I'm in the Reviewer Hub platform. On the left side, you will see the option certificates has highlighted. So you can click on recognized reviewer certificate. We also have an exclusive video created on downloading reviewer certificates, and the link of which will now be posted to the chat section. So as you could see here, you can click on download the recognized reviewer certificate option. So this is how you can go and download your reviewer recognition certificate. And there is also a video which is available, a specific video on downloading reviewer recognition certificate, and the link of which will be now posted to the chat section for all your reference. So please bookmark the page for your future reference. We have now come to the end of our webinar. And after the session, what we'll do is we'll send you an email that will contain some helpful links to the webinar recording and also some short video guides that relate directly to the topic today. So please watch out for that email. And now please take a few moments to complete the poll that you see on your screen. So this is our, as I informed you at the beginning of this webinar, this is our first reviewer webinar series. So your poll, your answers will really help us to actually deliver more webinars like this in future. And once again, thank you for joining us and see you next time.